Oh, fellas, time to unwrap the 2024 Stanley Cup Final and potential Conn Smythe winners with help from our friends at Upper Deck. Scan the QR code below to go to upperdeckepack.com and collect official NHL trading cards. As you can see, we have set up 4 of the potential candidates, 3 rounds in, to be considered for the Conn Smythe. You'll recognize them right away. On the 2 sides, we have the 2 goalies, Bob and Skinner, and in between, Barkov and McDavid. Beautiful pictures and also worthy candidates, Tone.
Oh, my gosh, are they worthy candidates. And when you go into this series, everybody expects, Connor McDavid to be the front runner if the Oilers do win. But there's been a supporting cast of a few players, including Skinner, who especially in the last series stood up tall and really was a factor. If he's a factor and they win, he should be considered. And then, of course, Draisaitl,
absolutely,
Bouchard, with what they've done,
sure,
have been exceptional players that have been difference makers to potentially win a Conn Smythe.
If you had to narrow it down, 3 rounds in, given that we still have plenty of room to go, who would you pick from the couple that we see from the Oilers? 97, I'm guessing.
I'm going with Connor McDavid. And here's the thing. I think he's scored maybe the goal of the playoffs so far.
Gosh, yes.
That one against the Dallas Stars, Game 6. And the other thing about Connor McDavid, listen, we all know he's probably the best player in the NHL. The puck doesn't slow him down. Not many guys like that. When they get the puck, they find another gear, and they turn it up a notch, and that's exactly what Connor McDavid does. And it's not just his skating ability, it's his passing ability. It's not just his passing ability, it's his shooting. I mean, he's as well-rounded player as you're going to find in the NHL. So, to me, if the Edmonton Oilers go on to win the Stanley Cup, he would be my front runner for the Conn Smythe.
There's that goal.
And I agree. And the other thing he's done exceptionally well is when they got the lead the other day, his defensive play was exceptional. And when you understand that as a great player that's supposed to score, but the game's in control, and all I got to do is make sure the other team doesn't score, and you commit to that, that to me is Conn Smythe. And that's why his name should be in there. But I am going to say Bouchard, with what he's done on the back end, plus 14. Not only is he doing a great job on the power play, even strength, playing against other teams' top players. For me, I always thought of him as an offensive player that, had some defensive flaws. I haven't seen any flaws for him in the playoffs. So I put him in the discussion right now to be one. And, of course, Draisaitl, who is a massive goal scorer that if Edmonton's going to win, I expect him to be on the score sheet, filling the net with some big goals for him in this series as well.
The thing with Bouchard, he's been sneaky good. And I remember his coach, Chris Knobloch, talked about his play, about some people think he's lackadaisical back there. He's big and rangy, but he always seems to be in the right spot. And sometimes defense is all about being in the right spot, and that's what Bouchard brings. Yes, he plays with McDavid and Draisaitl, and that's a huge, huge plus. But he's got a great shot. He knows how to get that shot through. And, Connor McDavid said it himself, one of the smartest players he's ever played with. So, yeah, he would be a dark horse for me, too.
Low pulse, tremendously poised. I admire those people because I don't have that. I do want to point out, Leon Draisaitl, historically effective in terms of point production in the postseason. The guys ahead of him are named Lemieux and Gretzky in terms of point production per game. And you talked about this last night, Connie, that in these games, playoff games, the intensity ramps up to an unbelievable degree. So for him to be this effective tells you a lot about what makes 29 special.
It does. And with an advantage for him, he's a big body. I mean, people don't realize how big, how strong he is. He might not look like he's the fastest guy, but he moves at a pretty good pace. And he's got that huge stick. So defensively, he's really tough to get around. Offensively, one of the better one-timers you'll see on that Edmonton Oilers team. And he can play him in all situations. You talked about McDavid in the last couple of minutes. Draisaitl was right there, too. He'll put him out in big penalty kills at times. He wins faceoffs. So, yeah, a well-rounded player in Draisaitl.
As we pivot to the other team, Sergei Bobrovsky is easy to root for. Works so hard, so diligent, so well-respected. 3 rounds in, there are a lot of people that are thinking about him. Alexander Barkov, it seems like this always is the story with him. He goes under the radar. He's won 2 Selkies, yet this guy is not the sexiest pick, but boy, is he effective. And hockey people, like you two, praise his all-around game. What do you like most about him?
Well, first of all, when the other team's big players don't score, there's a reason they don't score. It's not the other team's goalie or defense always, but there's a piece in the middle that commits to doing things right to make it hard on the other team's skilled players. And what he did to the Rangers in the last series and what he's done in the earlier series against the best players in the NHL to neutralize them, to me, that says a lot. So to me, Anze Kopitar in L.A. was the premier player when you look at a complete center that just does everything right, that everybody on your team learns from and wants to be like. I think he's that piece in Florida. And so, yes, I think he is definitely – Florida wins. He's definitely in consideration.
Connie, how about Matthew Tkachuk? Last year, this year, he is their top point producer, but if possible, he has not been as impactful as he was last year with all those game winners. What do you think?
True, but he's still the stick that stirs the drink, and he is in there when they need him the most. And, yeah, he just had the one goal in the New York Rangers series, but guess what? It was the game-winning goal in Game 1. So he knows when to up it a notch. We saw it last year, and unfortunately he was injured towards the end of that series against the Vegas Golden Knights. He seems to be 100% healthy right now, and he's that guy who's going to drag you into the fight whether you want it or not, and that's who you want on your team.
And last year, he playing wounded and hurt, and everybody in the world knew it.
Yeah.
But what his teammates learned from him and the courage that he showed is contagious. So I think you look at what Florida did last year and what they've been able to accomplish this year, I think they've all grown up in a big, big way of understanding what compete is by learning from him. So the impact that he has on the rest of the room is incredible.
And Bob, seems like the obvious answer. What he's done this year versus last year has gotten so much attention, deservedly so.
And you look at the goal, and it's just the goalies he beat. Vasilevsky, Swayman, and Shesterkin. 3 of the top
in the
goalies in the world.
Yes.
And Bobrovsky. And
that was the
that
one.
will never, ever be forgotten. That one will last forever.
Yes.
But just, and one of those teammates that everybody loves because he's one of those guys that loves the game so much. He's always on the ice first. He's taking as many shots as anyone's out there shooting. He's taking shots. So one of the guys that teammates just love to have.
Which is tremendous praise. It's Christmas in June, fellas.
Oh, my
we got
goodness.
packs. Let's open.
Hit me.
Thank you.
Let's go.
This is for me?
Yes, you get to pick one and then put it on your little plastic Vanna White thing.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Who do I have? What happened? What
I
happened?
had the jackpot off the gate. One of my favorite, Dylan Larkin, right out of the gate, right on top.
Oh, my goodness. You're not going to believe who I have.
I'm going to throw mine up there right now.
Sam Reinhart.
Oh.
He have the zillion goals in the contract year. Oh, Sam.
Larks.
Leon Draisaitl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That's a pretty good draft.
That's a real big deal.
I have Dylan Larkin.
Oh, yeah. America.
I'm taking this one home with me, too. It's not staying on set.
We'll try and take it from you while you're not looking. When we think about what Draisaitl represents, we talk about the game being global. Highest drafted German-born player. It's pretty awesome to see just how global the game has become. You guys lived it during a different period.
Well, just think about it. It's huge in Germany, bigger than we realize. It's huge in places like Serbia, Slovenia, maybe some of these Middle East or Eastern European countries that people don't really realize. So Kopitar, a great example. He's
right?
Slovenian. Yeah, like basketball, it is huge in a lot of these countries that you wouldn't necessarily think are hockey crazy.